I don't hear anything, but I assume that we're live, and I'm assuming that it's working. Gino, good morning. How's it going?
Good morning, Jack. Feeling good here. Glad to be back in the show after Memorial Day weekend.
It's a big show that we have today, big time. We've got the Sonic 2 guys are coming back. They are in the latest Jiffy Lube campaign. We're going to talk about the return, hashtag the return of two guys from Sonic. I'm hearing it now, and now my ear plays. I'm all over the place right now with the ear and the in-ear. So, yeah, and then to kick off the show, we got Lisa Smith, Chief Design Officer at Uncommon. Also, most known in the last couple days as the president of the D&ADs, Gino. The pencils. People is the most, it's the hardest award to win. That's what people say.
That's what people are saying,
D&AD
Jack.
pencils, Gino.
Nonprofit, all about integrity of the creative work here. So Lisa is going to come on any second now to talk about some of the big winners, the trends of this year's award show. And I'm going to ask about black pencils, Jack.
Of course, black pencils.
We're going to talk about it because that's the one people want.
It's the creme de la creme, for those that don't know, in the design and the art direction world. Let's bring her in. Lisa Smith, Chief Design Officer. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Hi, guys. Hi.
Well,
Great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Lisa has been marathon judging, hosting, presidentiating. Lisa, so we appreciate you joining. How are you feeling now? Some of the awards have come out. The results are out there. Oh, here we go. Special guest. Hey. This is fantastic.
Looking fab. It's like the BBC or during the pandemic, isn't it?
This is fantastic. A couple questions. Thoughts? I don't even know how to. That was the. We should just stop the interview there. That's the best it'll get.
I mean, look, it was. Honestly, yeah, it was an amazing last week. I think we had the largest amount of countries that have ever entered the D&AD Awards, which was from 89 different countries. We awarded 573 pencils. So, albeit that I know everybody is always like, is D&AD super stingy? Yes, it is really hard to win a yellow pencil, or any pencil for that matter. But it shouldn't be impossible. That is something we talked a lot about in the briefing, but it gets harder obviously as you go up from shortlist to wood to graphite to yellow and perhaps even black pencil. But we awarded in 46 of the categories. There were categories that didn't have yellow pencils, but might have had some other awards. And then it all culminated in a sort of a yellow pencil awards showcase that happened on Thursday evening. And then each of the presidents of each of the categories came up and presented the best work and what they deemed was the best work and why. And I think it's for the first time ever I saw an audience stay and stick around for 3 hours that just really were like obsessed with the creative work, which is really awesome.
I love it. So before we get into the work and what we saw here, backing things up a little bit, looking holistically at the D&ADs, what makes the D&ADs different from other award shows?
I mean, D&AD, first off, is a nonprofit, and it gives all of any of the award entries, the money that's spent in entering the awards all goes back to our educational programs for new blood, for students that have come through the educational system, or our D&AD Shift Night School program, which gets kids who want to do creative and learn creative courses and get into the industry who come from non-traditional sort of educational backgrounds. So that's D&AD is this whole cyclical cycle of the highest accolades right down to the beginning of learning. And it's honestly something that's been part of my career for, not going to say the number of years because that'll give away how old I am. But yeah, for a very long time. I designed the student annuals right back at the beginning. My mum was in one of their TV spots and mums talking about how much they love the yellow pencils. And I've won a few over the time, but I have to confess, I've actually never won a yellow. I've won a lot, but not a yellow, which so you still keep going.
Well, that's
do you know
why
what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's why you make yourself president. You make yourself president, and obviously now you start stuffing the ballots.
Just surround myself by pencil.
Well, I think the structure in that is so important to know, the nonprofit and like the investment back into the next generation. But like anything like notably different around like the judging and like the creative parameters and stuff that you guys preach internally to the judges when you bring on presidents for it?
I mean, it really is about creative excellence. I think a lot of other award shows get caught up in like the politics. People are trying to like, we don't allow any of that in the jury rooms. And we also, really are very like very particular how we curate judges again from all over the world, but also the standard of the judges that we bring into it. And I think we always talk about, there's three very kind of basic questions we ask everyone to look at, but they can vary basically depending on category, whether you're doing music videos or writing for design. Like, so it has all different types of creative. This year we saw a lot new categories around content creators, which was super interesting. But we always ask, is it inspiring? Is it brilliantly executed? And is it fit for purpose? Those are like the three kind of like ways that the jurors can kind of get back together and be able to filter the work to remove as much bias. And then we really ask everyone to be very open to each other and to like the nuances of where the works come from and all of that. I mean, it really is about upholding the best creativity in the world. And really, for people, we always talk about, you want to be able to stand by this work and say this is like represents 2026, this represents this moment in history, and especially when you get to Black Pencil, where it's very like, should be the most groundbreaking work that you might see and ever remember.
Yeah. Is there anything from this year, theme-wise, that kept coming up, like you just kept hearing over and over, that was maybe something that defined the pencils and the awards from this year?
Yeah, I think there was a lot of, I think craft, everybody's been talking about it in the light of obviously like AI, and I think getting back and like making and crafting things, felt like everything felt very human. Like a couple of the pieces that blew me away were some like projects that are being cast really well, so like actually putting incredible diverse humans into things, but then actually making it. So even like when you look at like that Apple TV identity, and that's just all, it's not been made using like AI, which anyone could have probably made. It's kind of been deliberately painstakingly invested in putting the craft in it. I think there was like a lot of like very characterful work. There was like, I think the Rosalia Berghain music video won for so many different things, not just in music video, but in terms of like, again, the curation, the dance, all of that. Lots of very beautiful, simple ideas as well, like the Popeyes, the Pope Yes. I mean, that just had me in tears. I think Vaseline Verified, which was again real human insights of how people have been using Vaseline for all sorts of experiments, like eating it and disgusting things.
Gosh,
but then they saw an opportunity to verify the or like really cool things that you can do with Vaseline versus try out all the worst things. So that did really well. And then obviously I can't not give out a shout to like Uncommon's work that killed it. The Periodic Fable. I mean, that work happened just before I even joined Uncommon, and it is still my favorite work. Not only is this the cinematic piece in the TV, but I love the out of home and the writing for the out of home and stuff like that. And I think that did really well as an encompassing piece. But lots of really cool film like Skate and the D Balloon from our Swedish office. So I was dead excited. I think Uncommon had one of their best D&AD years, and we're so proud that it represents all the work globally. So a little shout out for that.
Of course, you have to. You had. I mean, come on, that's written in the contract. Five yellow. You can't. Can you imagine you came on here for 10? Yeah, that would be messed up. That makes sense.
5 yellow pencils for Uncommon. That is incredible there. Also seeing work from Claude and Mother on that. When I was looking at the yellow pencil winners for advertising specifically, we saw Claude and Mother, build your own Super Bowl commercial, Uber Eats special. What do you got, Jeff?
I got a question. I have a question. For the judging process, I think there's an obvious tension that always lives in advertising, where it's like, keep the consumer in mind. Like you can care all about the craft and having it look beautiful, but at the end of the day, like it's an ad. For you all though, I could see there still being value in just being like, this was the most well done, beautifully done ad. But for the D&ADs, is there a weight or is there attention or is there any thoughts that you have around, it's an ad that still has to serve a purpose of communicating a message versus, yes, we should also put value and place value in something that just looks amazing and is really, really well done.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're deliberately we're not an effectiveness award. So we're not asking for all of those eyeballs and stats and these, what I've always like these, I call them propaganda videos that you have to sit through.
Case studies.
Hours of them, like, how many fucking impressions? Is there that many people on this earth? I don't know. I mean, I'm just a bit like...
Literally everybody saw it.
7 billion people.
7 billion impressions.
4 billion people have internet access, but 7 billion people saw this. Someone actually took their phone up.
But I haven't seen it before.
Right.
And I work in this industry.
100%.
I mean, this is what I always love as well, because the work comes from everywhere in the world. There is lots of inspiring. I always feel so inspired because there's loads of work that comes from so many different places. But yeah, I don't think of course there is a question of like, and when you fill out, I know people rigorously fill out these sort of questionnaires that are entered with the work. I mean, often, obviously, you want it to speak for itself. A lot of them do come with these videos anyway. But then there are questions about, like, has this launched? Is this real? More of that type of stuff than actual, like, have it work.
Well, that's what I like. My point would be, I appreciate the fact that at least you're picking the route, and the D&ADs is very specific. Like it's where you just said it. You're not an effectiveness award, and I think that is useful because that's like the issue.
Fighting against mediocre and like doing awesome stuff and giving people the sort of. We want people to feel like sort of have creative bravery and ask their clients to do it. I mean, historically, we've started doing a lot more masterclasses on what good creative looks like with brands as another form of our education platform. But it's not, you don't feel like in every jury, we probably have someone that's working in-house or brand side, but it's not dominated by brands. This is politely, this isn't Cannes and this isn't the beach, and we're not like flooded with that. This is really creatives hanging out with creatives and really deliberating what is ultimately the best work of the year.
I love it. It's good for the industry. Keep a high bar for us all, and you celebrate the good work. It keeps coming. So thank you for doing what you do.
Yeah.
Lisa Smith, appreciate you joining the show. Congrats. You can take off your presidential robes and put back on the uncommon hat. You're back to work.
Do we expect the black pencils to be announced in September?
Yes.
Golden.
September is where we're actually having an official sort of ceremony. We're actually hosting it inside a church in Shoreditch. We're keeping with that Dead or is Creativity, Dead or Alive theme and seeing it right through to the end. And yeah, that will also be like things like Agency of the Year and stuff like that will also be announced at that point.
We can't wait
for it. Yeah, can't wait. We'll probably set up some sort of tailgate scene outside of the church. So just
come.
Okay, cool.
We'd
Okay,
love
great.
you to come.
Yeah, that's how you invite yourself to something. I've done it many times before with other parties. Yeah, Lisa, thank you so much. Lisa
Awesome. Love to
Smith.
see you guys.
Lisa Smith, the president of the D&AD, and is also the chief design officer at Uncommon. Let's move on with the show, Gino. We were talking about awards. Let's talk about the 2-minute drill. Let's get into the 2-minute drill. It's the marketing news and stories, biggest ones of the day. We're rewinding through the weekend. First one, Nike World Cup teaser. This is a few days old. I think it came out on Friday, so we weren't live. But
is there any updates on this teaser here? Because we saw 44 athletes/celebrities dropped in a Polaroid carousel teaser object, yes, Jack. And I'm excited for this. Nike's World Cup ad. When's it gonna drop, Jack?
But we don't
have
know.
any insider info?
Well, I think that the whole thing is it's not just one drop. It's going to be across the entire World Cup.
Wow.
So this campaign will include all of these different people across the entire World Cup. I think that they're doing the opposite of the Adidas approach. Adidas goes all in on this 1 5-minute film. Nike says ours is going to be several different drum beats across the entire World Cup, utilizing all of these famous people and brand ambassadors. So a little bit of two different approaches. Gino, what are your thoughts?
Let's talk about it.
Okay.
Would you rather see 44 celebs in one 5-minute spot or multiple spots?
Yeah, this is. Would you rather have $1 million today or $5 million over the next 20 years? Is kind of the question.
Yeah.
My take on this.
Yeah.
It's all distribution. I think Nike realizes that at the end of the day, the biggest, hardest thing to do right now is get reach and really take over the cultural zeitgeist.
Yeah.
And so their thing is, okay, let's get 44 celebrities and get them all across this campaign so that we ensure that this thing has as much reach as possible. And I think that I think it's a smart strategy, honestly, because you can create something that's highly curated with one celebrity and one talent, but it lives for what, a day, maybe? And especially when you're talking about the World Cup, where you're competing with every other brand, especially every other sports brand, you need to do something that just has insane reach. So to do that, get as many people with the most amount of followers possible.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what the actual idea execution looks like outside of just having and slapping celebrities across it too.
100%. We'll see. We'll see. Olipop's the feel-good soda, Gino. Can you believe it? Olipop, feel-good soda, new packaging, redesign done by the good folks at Collins. A great design shop, business transformation shop. And then you got Callan.
Ooh,
to
that's a
work
good
on.
combo.
Yeah, Callan and Collins.
That's a great
coming
combo.
together for Olipop. And they're the feel-good soda, and they have this spot. I don't know if we're able to play it. You gotta accept the cookies. But your thoughts, Gino, on a little bit of
cookies.
a little bit of a positioning move here by Olipop.
No, this is a good play here. The spot's so fun. It's done by Callan, and they had a really good time basically saying, like, this is a good start. It's a beautiful spot as well. Like, this, it's not going to save the planet, Jack, but it's a good start.
It's a good start. They play it the classic, some classic tropes where in what world would a brand, like a soda brand, actually change the world? And they address that towards the end, but they say it's a good start. So a little bit of self-awareness goes a long way when you're a brand like Olipop.
Let's talk about this Olipop, Poppy, brand perception for you personally, Jack.
Well, let me follow that up with another follow-up and let you know that Nate Rosen, the founder of Express Checkout, is joining the show after the 2-minute drill to answer that exact question. We're going to ask him straight up, Olipop or Poppy, who's winning? Poppy is owned by PepsiCo now. Olipop is, I guess, independent in the sense of they're not owned by a megacorp. So
it seems like this is a good investment into the brand here, bringing on Collins and Callan. Being independent, does that help that? Probably, right? They can make whatever choices that they.
Of course, we all know about procurement. Ever heard of it? The big P word. People hate that word because at a megacorp you have to go through a lot of procurement. But I imagine with Olipop, it's a little bit quicker. They can move a little bit more agile. The question is, are they going to take advantage of that? And it looks like they're already taking a new step. No celebrities in that spot, Gino.
No celebrities.
Next one, Essentia water ad. Essentia has been a household staple in my parents' home for the last decade plus. And largely because of their advertising, Gino.
Wow.
No, I'm just kidding. But the new spot here from Droga 5, it's intense. You know what? I'm going to do a quick poll. Droga 5, Under Armour, Michael Phelps vibes here, Gino, with the lighting and the way that they executed this.
I know. I was watching this morning, I was trying to guess which agency made this, and I was thinking Uncommon. When you told me it was Droga, it made a lot of sense too. But it's got that poetry, it's got the craft into it, and there's like multiple spots here. I think there's like 5 or 6 spots.
So
within
the whole thing here is like you're using the water to refuel you, and it's
hypercharged.
Yeah, when your back's against the wall, when you're about to get knocked out by a punch, you gotta kind of flip the script, and Essentia helps you do that. It really is an intense spot for water. I think about other waters. I think about Liquid Death. Liquid Death is like all about this stunty, counterculture, weird stuff. This is like intense. This reminds me of more how Gatorade brands itself back in the day, or like Body Armor.
Yeah.
Body Armor, the name Body Armor alone is like so intense, and Essentia is kind of following a similar playbook, it feels like.
This is like a Nike Gatorade. If Nike and Gatorade had a baby, this is what this would look like.
I want to give a shout out to Tom McQueen, who's the ECD at Droga 5, who worked on this. And Droga 5 is my pick to click.
You like this
year.
one?
I said, coming out of last year, I said, watch out for Droga 5. Because they revamp, whole new leadership. I believe Rafa Rizzuto is leading the creative ship at Droga. And I think that they've got a lot to lean on in terms of the agency's history. And I think this Essentia ad is money. It was cool. And
We're
it was really
talking
well
about
done.
water.
We're talking about water, not a game, practice.
We're talking about water. It made me feel something about water.
Yeah, it's not easy. As Nike spec ad is going viral. 20-year-old named Asher Hyde, I believe. Asher Hyde is his name. And he created this spec ad, the insight around Victor Wembanyama and none. Stop him, just pray. And this isn't random, Gino, because the Spurs have been blessed by some nuns that have been going to Spurs games and blessing them. They've been shown in the TV, on the stands, hanging out. So Asher said, let's make a whole concept around the idea of nuns and some really, really interesting visuals with Wembanyama and the nuns. I got to know what AI software he's using because it looks really good.
It looks so good. If this guy doesn't get a call from Wyden this week, it is a huge miss, in my opinion.
Some
Drop
people,
out of school, go work at Wyden.
he goes to USC right now. The thing that people are like, oh, Nike would never run this ad. They would never, because it's like religion.
Yeah, it's
which isn't the point. I think that Nike gets the best of both worlds here because they're so iconic. People just make super cool concepts using Nike. Nike gets all the benefits of more people seeing Nike's logo with Wembanyama in a really cool way, and they have none of the downside of having to deal with like legal pushback.
Right.
Because they're like, we didn't put it out. This kid just got 10 billion impressions. Call back to Lisa Smith interview.
If you like it, great. If you don't like it, wasn't us.
It's perfect. It's amazing. They never have to do anything. Imagine being a brand that's that iconic, that cool.
Yeah.
That you've got these 20-year-olds making just the dopest thing, and you don't even have to acknowledge it, and it ends up going mega viral.
Well, the last 10 seconds here is Wemby going to be better than LeBron James, career for career.
Wemby's an alien. I think he could be. He could be. He's just as marketable. He doesn't do anything except play basketball.
That's all.
He does not do anything except play basketball. Ferrari launches an EV, Gino. Why do we care? Because of course we care. Car brands, EV, all the rage. Ferrari launches their own. I believe it's in the mid six figures is what the asking price is for that.
For that. And a couple things to note as well here, that the designer on it was it's Johnny Ive, former Apple designer. So teamed up here to create this vehicle, and stock price has gone down because of it. A good amount of negative reaction to this. It's a classic case of brand misalignment.
It is. Great point, Gino.
The power of branding and staying consistent is so important. You switch up on your day ones, people are going to say something.
It's reminiscent of the Jaguar. Not at the same level, of course, in terms of like controversy, but as we all recall, Jaguar with the repositioning, rebranding. Sure. I understand why Jaguar did something like that because they were just they were down and out, and it was like their demographic was growing old, and people just stopped buying Jaguars, so they're like, F it, total rebrand, let's start from scratch. Ferrari, on the other hand, has decades and decades and decades of brand, and people love Ferrari.
One of the strongest brands.
One of the strongest brands. And our in-house car guy, James, everyone has their car guy friend. This is my car guy. He said, quote, I can't believe they released that garbage. And he had some choice words that I will not be saying live on air. But all that to say, the car guy community appears to be upset with this, which is not good if you're Ferrari.
And the finance corner over here, the stock price goes down, Jack, like...
The market reacted. I don't know why. Why are they trying to make EV happen? It's like Fetch in Mean Girls. Stop trying to make Fetch happen. Why do they have to have EV? All I've heard in the headlines and news is that there's softening demand for EV. Like, people don't actually want EV as much as we thought they would. And for these big-time car brands that lean on the idea that they're all about performance, like they put all this money into making these engines that are amazing, and people love the feeling of driving that, gas engine Ferrari. To just be like, I'm gonna switch up on my day ones, like you said, to go electric feels like a miss.
Yeah. No, I could see some potential of it being done right. Like, I don't.
There's just no way.
You don't think it's possible?
I don't think
like
that
if the design was better. I think they had 4 doors.
I don't think that people are
And
gonna
like 2 doors. It's like.
I don't think people are going to come around to the design anytime soon. I don't think they're going to just one day be like, you know what, actually the Ferrari circle rounded edge thing is cool. Let's get into our next guest, but before we do that, Gino, shout out to Rothmans. Rothmans is goated. You see it there. Do you want to take a shot? Do you want to take a shot at the ad read?
It's our presenting sponsor for the month, ladies and gentlemen. Rothmans is a 4th generation family-owned independent menswear store celebrating 100 years in New York City. They have all the best of Soho menswear stores curated under one roof. That's a good line. You wrote that? That was really good. They take the New Yorkers as they are and they help them dress better. So some guy like me, Jack, I go in there, I don't know what I want. They'll take care of you. We've spent time with them. We've hung out with them. They really care about the customers, Jack.
Yeah, and so check out Rothmans ahead of this next season of weddings. You get a promotion. You want to spend on some new clothes. First job. You got a big pitch meeting. Big pitch meeting. You don't want to be wearing some trash. So, or any life moments. Go check them out. One of their New York City locations. I prefer the Union Square flagship store. And when you're there, mention breaking and entering for 10% off. Breaking and entering for 10% off when you go to the store, Rothmans. And if you have to order online, use code BREAKING10 at checkout. That's code BREAKING10 at checkout. Shout out to Rothmans. Let's move on with the show. We're bringing in Nate Rosen. He's our CPG expert and co-founder of Express Checkout. Express Checkout, if you want to know what's going on in CPG in packaging, it's so fascinating. And Express Checkout does the best job of covering it. So we're going to bring in Nate Rosen to talk about Olipop, to talk about David Protein, to talk about the Sweet and Snacks Expo. Let's bring him in. Nate Rosen, welcome to the show.
What's up, guys? Funny story before I start. I got my bar mitzvah suit at Rothmans in Westchester.
There we go.
This is like
how was that experience?
A dream.
Was it well
Nate, let's
fitted?
talk about it.
How'd they do?
Oh, it was great. I remember I came home from camp, drove from the Bloomingdale's parking lot at the mall in Westchester, drove to Rothmans in, was it like New Rochelle? And they took care of me. It was great. I like the fact that you're getting sponsored by Rothmans is amazing. I love Rothmans.
And this is the breaking and entering difference. This is why we do it live. Because you just get moments like this. Shout out Rothmans. Nate.
Shout out Rothmans.
Shout out Nate. Because Nate, I wanted to talk about, because Olipop comes out with this new positioning, and
Yes.
I think prebiotic, the Olipop versus Poppy sort of war is one of my more favorite things to discuss. Whenever you just have two very clear competitors going at it in the marketplace. So I want to get your take on it, Nate, because this drops last week. What's been the reception like in the community, and how are people reacting in the CPG space?
Overall, people are reacting really positively to this rebrand. I agree. I think it's a very good rebrand that makes it a lot easier to read. It keeps it familiar. It also removed a lot of the upfront health claims and is really just repositioning it as this is a new soda for a new generation, which is how a lot of consumers are looking at these brands. Like, yes, it's got healthy, but that's kind of secondary to the fact that it's lower sugar and quote unquote better for you. I also think just they made it a lot more cohesive across the SKUs. It's a lot easier to see the product, know it's Olipop, and know what flavor you're getting too. Before it was a little bit chaotic, though a little bit more nostalgic, but now it's a lot more unified and cohesive. And seems like everybody that I've talked to has enjoyed this little refresh.
So let's talk about refreshes real quick there. So you've probably seen a good amount of refreshes, rebrands in the CPG space. What made this one specifically good? Like, was it just a natural progression? Did they just not mess up? Can you talk a little bit more?
Yeah, I think it was a natural progression. They kept a lot of the same hierarchy that people know from the branding, from the previous branding. They did something that I really like in branding is you need to show what the flavor is, whether it's a graphic or an actual picture of the ingredient. They made that much more front and center than pretty much anything on the package. And I think that was a huge win for them. They made it look like a little sticker. It's like, if you look at the crisp apple, it's an apple with a little white outline on it. If you look at the lemon lime, it's the lemon lime with the white outline on it. So it makes it a lot more bold, but they still kept it familiar to what people already know. Because when somebody's looking on a shelf, again, you have 3 seconds to look. So they need to see something somewhat familiar. But I think this is a really good upgrade that keeps it bold and bright, like a soda should be. A soda should be fun. It shouldn't really be that healthy looking. It should be colorful, and that's what they did here.
Yeah. So what's your take? I want to hear your thoughts on Olipop versus Poppy, because now that Poppy is now owned by PepsiCo, that felt like a massive moment, and people were kind of saying, okay, who's Olipop going to get swooped up by? It doesn't appear that Olipop is making any moves in the acquisition space. So what's your thoughts on how things have shaken out between Poppy and Olipop post PepsiCo?
I think they're still both like leaders and winners in this space. I think they're still pretty neck and neck. It feels like the Pepsi acquisition they had an opportunity to do it and they took it. I think it turned out really good for Poppy. Those founders seem to be doing very well. And at least right now, it doesn't seem like Poppy has really changed too much. It seems like they just got more fuel on the fire with those Pepsi dollars. But I'm assuming within the next year, 2 years max, something will happen with Olipop, whether it's private equity, whether it's an acquisition from a Keurig Dr. Pepper or some other strategic. They're going to get scooped up at some point. It's in CPG at this point, it's really hard to maintain a large business like that, because especially with beverage, you have distribution channels that you need to maintain, and Pepsi has direct distribution relationships with everybody. Same with Coke, same with KDP. And KDP, Keurig Dr. Pepper, has a massive, massive, massive distribution network. I mean, I could even see Olipop being acquired by an Anheuser-Busch or one of the big bev-al companies, because they need these types of products in their category, especially with younger people drinking a little bit less. I don't think people are not drinking anymore.
Right.
I think if they are drinking, they're drinking like those big buzz balls and getting hammered.
We love the buzz balls. We love them over here.
They're crazy. But I do think that Olipop is like still maintaining its relevancy, especially with this rebrand. They've also they've grown so much. They're far beyond any of the other competitors out there. Them and Poppy are clear category leaders, but there are a lot of better for you sodas on the market right now. Like every time I make a graph on what's out there, there's like 2 new ones.
Yeah,
added.
it's a good. I mean, you bring up a great point, because the amount of investment that it took to get them to being those category leaders. Now think about how much investment it's going to take. Now you have to ward off a new brand every single day. So it's a marketing thing it's always on.
I want to ask. I want to ask your opinion on why this was the right time. Potentially, we can speculate here on why the rebrand at this moment.
Well, they've probably been noodling on this for a while. I think the better for you soda space has also just been getting more crowded, so this helps them stand out a little bit more. I think them making it less of here's a healthy soda and here's just like a new better for you soda. I think that sort of logic has been in the back of their heads for a while. That's been sort of changing. So I think that's just a timely thing. And then there might be an acquisition in the pipeline, and like this type of rebrand just makes it feel fresher and vibier, and maybe they have I'm assuming that they have a lot of new marketing campaigns on the horizon that is tied to this rebrand to keep them relevant and top of mind.
Nate, we gotta ask, because 2 things. The Sweet and Snacks Expo, of course, this is like, first off, for the people that don't know, can you just explain what this is? I'm seeing Chick-fil-A sauce chips. I'm seeing all sorts of crazy stuff. Is this just like a Super Bowl for the sweet and snacks world?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's everybody from Dum Dums lollipops to any like Doritos to any of the sweets and snacks. It's in the name. It is a massive, massive food and also some beverage trade show in Vegas, but it is just for pretty much the unhealthy stuff. There's better for you and proteinified things, sure, but it's like blue raspberry pickles
Yeah.
and like just crazy things you'd see in like a 7-Eleven or some like random bodega.
It's the
It is-
CES for snacks.
CES.
CES for sex. Exactly.
And
I think I saw that somewhere too. It is crazy. I unfortunately could not go this year, but I was following along closely. And it was interesting. I saw a lot of like influencers and celebrities had attended this one. The big boom guys, the Costco guys were there.
Big Justice.
Bring the boom.
You're telling me, Nate, Big Justin and AJ were there, but you weren't there?
I know.
No, I get it.
It's a real shame. But there was a lot, like, from the trends that I saw, still a lot of like international candies are really big. Adding protein and fiber to things was also like there. There's this chocolate brand called Dirty Gut. You can guess what it's good for. It's good for your gut. The founders of Smart Sweets are releasing a new product called Snackish, a high protein potato chip. I need to try it. I'm very curious. Doritos was there, Dum Dums, like everything. The nerds.
Dumb question.
Yeah.
This is B2B or B2C? Like, what is the purpose of the conference?
Right.
Is there vendors there? Like,
These conferences mostly are B2B. You're looking for buyers, you're looking for retailers, you're looking for the airlines to sell your product, you're looking for C-stores, whoever it is. They're slowly becoming like gatherings for influencers because it's a great way to show off your
great
brand
content.
in a fun way.
It's great content.
Great content.
Yeah.
Like if you search sweets and snacks, those videos
Yep.
from just normal food influencers, lifestyle influencers, Vegas influencers, they get so many views because people want to know what's new. That's why like around Expo West, people are really curious about this stuff. Like there's a lot more interest in this world than I think there ever has been.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's the influence. It is just like objectively great content. Whatever it is about it, food content, snacks
it
content.
applies to
works.
everybody.
Okay.
This is the niche
Right.
to be in. Nate's doing the right thing.
Take notes.
I'm trying to.
Nate's got this beat covered too, so don't even try and enter into that space.
There's no room. There's no room.
Nate, the last thing I want to ask about, I want to get your take on it before we let you go, is we talk about protein. David, cod. What is going on in the David verse?
Tin fish.
I love this. I made a video about this and I called it the second coming of cod, which I thought was hilarious. I didn't get the response that I was hoping. But so they've done this before. This is their second cod product. This is tinned cod tinned in salt and oil and whatever. Look, it's a real product. They're selling it. This is not like a real product, a line extension for them. This is a marketing stunt to show off that their products, which have a very good protein to calorie ratio, are only second to the best protein to calorie ratio product, and that is a fillet of cod, which is just effectively just protein. It's meat. So they've had this sort of comparison on their site since they launched that they are the second best calorie to protein ratio, only to cod, compared to even all the other brands out there and all that stuff. So they went with this very this great comparison, and they did a great launch video for this too. Basically, Peter was acting as Steve Jobs, and they did a iPhone announcement, iPhone style announcement for this product.
Yeah, so that's interesting, and I don't know if everyone will get that until now. That it is kind of like an inside joke almost for people that understand David and understand the brand, which I think is cool. Like at least it's rooted in like an inside joke and a truth with the brand.
Totally.
Yeah.
Real quick, did we ever get an update on the debacle around the macros on the David bars?
Yes, we did. So that lawsuit, the people who filed it, they dropped it. What they got wrong was they used the wrong calorie testing, the wrong test for calories.
Yeah.
So according to the FDA, there's, I think, about 6 different ways to test for calories. They use something called a bomb calorimeter, which basically you effectively blow up the food. You burn everything. However, your body doesn't process EPG the same way it does fat. So you're burning that EPG, which is the fat replacement product, in a David bar, and you're counting that in the calories, even though your body doesn't count that in its digestion of the David product. So it was just the wrong
measurement.
It was the wrong test to use.
Got it.
Gosh, what
Completely
a
wrong test to use.
I mean, gosh, Jesus, can we do?
He said,
how do we not catch that before we do the lawsuit?
That's what they said. Is like you're measuring it wrong.
Yeah, easy fix.
Straight up, you're measuring it wrong according to the FDA, according to like decade-long guidelines. It's just they use the
just
wrong.
A weird. Yeah, that was such a weird.
Yeah, and there is like a whole slew of people who just file these lawsuits and just try to get money out of brands. This happened to Poppy. This happened to a brand called Half Days, where they basically claimed it was like, hey, you don't have the same fiber that you say on package, but it's like they do, but you're just trying to get a quick buck. And like this happens in the e-com world too. There's people who file lawsuits, ADA lawsuits, accessibility lawsuits against websites just to make a quick buck.
Yeah. Hey, well, that's why we bring in Nate. Get down to the truth. Nate Rosen, founder of Express Checkout. Thank you so much for joining the show. Always a pleasure. And we'll talk soon. Follow Express Checkout if you aren't already.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. All right, that was Nate. And now we get to the finale of the show with advertising royalty, Gino.
Royalty, Jack.
They've been in your living room for decades.
I know, Jack. In the 2000s, man, I love watching these guys on the television screen as they were going to Sonic there. The funny duo between TJ Jagodowski and Peter Gross.
Yeah.
That they are back now for a new brand. Not Sonic this time, but they're back for Jiffy Lube. With help from Barkley OKRP. That's the creative agency that brought them back, and I'm grateful for that. Shall we bring them
Well, first, let's show the Jiffy Lube spot.
Let's show
We're
them.
going to show the Jiffy Lube. We're going to show one of them, and then we'll bring in two guys.
Okay, guys, all set. Thanks for coming into Jiffy Lube.
Thank you.
The 15-minute oil change service they have here is pretty impressive.
These trained technicians?
Yeah, man, I changed the oil once.
You changed oil by yourself.
Yeah, it did not take 15 minutes.
Hold on, you have a car?
I do.
How come you never drive?
I'm still doing the oil change. Started in 2007.
Okay.
I've made some headway lately.
I'm taking you home. A fast, easy oil change with your best car, bud? Jiffy does it.
Love it.
Jiffy Lube.
They're back. And now let's bring them in. TJ and Peter, welcome to the show. How are you both doing?
Really good. How are you guys?
Oh, this is a true pleasure. And for you both, appreciate you taking the time to hop on. If you don't know us, we are the leading live advertising news show 3 times weekly. We're in a league of one, so it wasn't that hard to do. But
good. Congratulations on coming in first.
Appreciate it. So where should we begin?
I mean, there's so many questions here. So I guess I want to understand how you guys reacted when they invited you for this new campaign for Jiffy Lube, bringing the band back together.
It sounded a little bit like woo, 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 woo. It sounded a little bit like that, my reaction.
Yeah.
Of course. Of course. And then Peter, was it a similar
you know in the
sound
Old
effect?
West when characters were really excited and they would like fire guns in the air? Pew, pew, pew. It's like that.
Well, we're big sound effect people over here as well.
Yeah,
But, I mean, because I think a lot of people were like, where are the two guys been? You know, and so but let's hear what's been up. How has everything been? What have you both been up to? Obviously, you are acclaimed comedians, actors, incredible careers outside of the commercial world. So how has everything been? Do you still get recognized on the street, I imagine? But TJ, we can start with you.
All right. Well, mine will be quick. Peter has a much more impressive resume than I do as far as this off time went. I do improvisation with another longtime performing partner named David Pasquazi, and so I was doing a lot of that. We improvise as TJ and Dave, and other than that, man, I do a lot of metal detecting. I read, but professionally, certainly, like anything on camera, was pretty few and far between. So I wasn't joking when like the reaction to having a job again was like huge excitement, gratitude, and then also knowing that it would be with Pete was like, "Oh, this is a dream.
This is a
You
dream.
know, like this is easy,
Gotta-
easy stuff."
Got to do a quick follow up on metal detecting. Biggest
Really?
find, most
Of
exciting
course, obviously.
find that you can talk about. Anything interesting you could share with us?
Yeah, I have a lot of the stuff back there. Matchbox cars. There's a lot of Matchbox cars. I found my first silver last year, an old quarter, an old US quarter. I found a clatter ring that was pretty cool. Not too much of value, but I tend to believe that if anyone was ever 9 years old, the idea of buried treasure just like it never escaped my like 9-year-old fascination with it. So they all feel like treasures to me, gentlemen.
TJ,
Oh, they're like your children.
yeah, a quick follow-up to Gino's follow-up on the metal detection. I saw a video recently where a guy found a husband and wife-to-be's engagement ring for them using his metal detector device. TJ, is that a dream for you? Are you praying? Do you have one headphone out just hoping someone asked you to help them try to find something?
Pete and my common friend Rachel Mason lost her wedding band at not Peterson Beach, but one of the beaches in Chicago. I did the whole beach, didn't find it. So I had that moment. I was like, Rach, I got you. Let me do it. And it was a big ass beach. Sorry,
No, you can swear. You can swear.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was a
big butt
effing
beach.
big.
It's a big party.
And then Jeremiah, her husband, was like, "No, it was real gold. I don't know why you can't find it. I don't."
I swear I
told
left
me
it on
last
the beach. He gave it away. He sold it. He sold
just
it.
made of wood.
Yeah, there's something wrong with your metal detector.
There's something wrong
Pete,
there.
tell the gentleman about your
Yeah,
job.
thank you, TJ. Thank you, TJ,
yeah.
for moving this interview along.
Before
Thank
there's a
you.
follow-up to the follow-up to the follow-up, I'll
Yeah.
let you get to
That was
Pete.
great. That
I'd
was
like
great.
to follow up with that by saying I've spent the last 6 years scattering meaningless crap in TJ's backyard for him to find.
That's true partnership right there.
That's right. That's right.
Because I want him to have something to do. He's bored. No, I've been, like we last worked for Sonic at the end of 2019, right before the pandemic. So it has been a long time. So part of that time was pandemic time, which is, like both very short and very long. But I've been acting in a bunch of different stuff. I was in a movie called The Menu, which was like the first sort of big thing that happened to me after sort of as the pandemic was waning. A bunch of different TV here and there. I just was in an episode of this show Doc, which is a Fox medical drama. I shot an episode of The Bear, which will come out in like a month.
There was some Miss Maisel in there. Yeah,
Maisel was
right?
before,
Okay.
but
Wrote for Amy Sedaris.
I wrote for Amy Sedaris. Her last season of her show on True, was it True TV? I think so.
Yeah, so you've been busy. You've been busy.
You
Yeah,
gotta
I've been
watch The
busy.
Menu. It's great.
Yeah, I'll
my
watch.
God, it's
I'll
so good.
watch. Easy money.
And I do also a lot of improv with my friend John Lutz. Like, TJ and I we're not. I don't know if we're polyamorous as far as improv goes. We're not strictly monogamous.
Yeah,
we have
that's-
other partners.
I know. Is there a little bit of jealousy? Are you trying to make TJ jealous, Peter? And TJ saying back to you? Is there any of that going on?
No. But what's funny is I think that TJ, you started performing with Dave the same year that we
Within
first
2
started
weeks.
the Sonic.
Within 2 weeks of our first Sonic commercial, I did my first show with Dave. And
And I did the same with my friend John Lutz and these two other guys, Rob Janis and Dan Beckett. We started a 4-person show, and now John and I live in the same city, and Rob and Dan live elsewhere. So it's almost like it all happened sort of around the same. It was like 2002 at some point.
Yeah. Gino.
Crazy to think it's so long
So
ago.
with Jiffy Lube, I'm curious now, like, how does it feel like getting back together? How is the agency or the brand? Are they letting you guys kind of riff, improv? How has this experience been?
if conflict makes things interesting, this will be very uninteresting. They have been terrific. Like Pete and I think I could say personally, Pete and I fell like back into a very easy rhythm for us. they included us if we wanted to, and on like the creative and the ideas that they had come up with, which was like we had nothing to add to any of that. It was all terrific. Our friend Sue is the creative director on it. Super funny and funny on paper, which is not easy. And then the directors were so kind and sweet. Everyone was a dream. It was really, really a lovely, lovely experience.
Yeah, yeah, we were. I mean, TJ and I have performed together a bunch since then. We see each other, when we're in the other person's city. So it was not surprising that we fell right back into the exact same groove. But it was, for me, it was literally like he was in the passenger seat, and I had gotten hair, makeup, or whatever, and I went and like sat down into the driver's seat, and I just look over at him, and I was like, the cameras are basically arrayed in the same way, like when you see the commercial, there's only so many ways that you could shoot two guys in a car, so it felt very, very similar. And then we just did one, and it was kind of like, that was exactly the same.
Yeah, that's
Somebody
what
had
you
told
want.
me, somebody had told me it was a week since you did the last one, I would be like, that makes sense. I buy that.
Yeah, I mean that's great to hear, and it's interesting because people might not know that the agency Barkley, it was called Barkley back then, but they had the original idea back in the day with the Sonic work, and so now to come very full circle, same agency, they have obviously merged with Barkley and it's Barkley OKRP now, but essentially the same agency now working on this. Did that help? I mean, you're friends with Sue. Someone in the chat said Sue Salvi, the GOAT. They're calling her the GOAT.
Yeah.
Can I get confirmation on Sue being the GOAT and the agency?
Yes, she eats cans. We keep her tied up in a penned-in area. She is absolutely the GOAT.
Brayer. She's a big brayer. No, the agency thing was a total coincidence, because Sue, knowing us, pitched this idea because whatever the direction came in from Jiffy Lube, these are the things we want to talk about in the campaign. I think one of them was, you don't have to leave your car. You just sit in your car. It's easy. It's a 15-minute oil change. And so they thought about something that could take place in the car. And, we've known Sue for 25 years or whatever it is. TJ still lives in Chicago, sees her socially a bunch of times. And I think she just thought, well, what if we just have TJ and Pete being the same dynamic they had? So the same agency is a coincidence, but I mean, as coincidences go, it's pretty lovely coincidence.
And we had always been like at every step, all the way back, the folks we had initially dealt with, I think it was Barkley Evergreen and then Barkley Partners and now Barkley OKRP. They were terrific. They were funny and down to earth. And it always felt like peers. Pat Piper was one of the fellows who initially came up with the idea way back in the old Sonic Barkley days. And we're just social friends with him now. Pete and I will get on a Zoom. We'll just talk about life and stuff. So it did feel, it had like a kismet, like, oh, maybe this is meant to be kind of feel that it ended up back in the lap of Barkley. So it did help in like a cosmic sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's great that you have a great partnership. I think it also probably is like, to glaze you both, that you're probably not really divas when it comes to these kinds of commercial shoots. Is it hard though? How bad do you want to be a diva when you're on set? Like especially after having the success with Sonic, how badly do you just want to, do the Devil Wears Prada thing and throw your coat at someone? I mean, let's talk about that.
We were in Texas. It was too warm for a coat. Could have thrown like a T-shirt.
I'm so thankful for the work. I'm not creating any waves, man.
I'm trying to think of how we could be a diva.
How many Sonic spots did you two star in?
I think it's an unknowable number. I don't even think if you pin somebody from Sonic down, they would know, because there were two campaigns. The original was with Barkley. Then they got rid of us for a bit, and they switched to Goodby, Silverstein and Partners. And so you'd have to coordinate across. I mean, if you told me it was 500, I'd be like, okay. If you said it was 1,000, I would say that's fine. But because we did so many, it was 18 years with a year off in the middle. But every time a new thing came out, we shot something for it. So if they were like, we
So
want to
good.
talk about slushes now, we'd talk about that. If we want to talk about this burger, and then I don't know how many commercials they cut. We never how many they aired. So I have no
Right.
idea.
In a given day, we might go through 40 or 50 scenarios in the old days.
Wow.
We would just have a stack of index cards with like a 1 sentence or 2 sentence prompt. And we would just go. And if we felt like it was going somewhere, it might be like a 5 minute take. And then the poor guy, Matt Walsh, who was the editor and is again the editor for these,
Yeah, that's the other thing.
would
Same
get
editor, 20
in
years
the
later.
early days, like, here's 32 hours of stuff. Cut these into, I
Say
think they
goodbye
had-
to your family.
Yeah, right.
Go to
And
this room for the weekend.
I think they had to be 20 seconds long or 22 to keep room for the
Sure.
voiceover at the end. And this guy would cut 80 spots, something like that.
Yeah,
And then
that
at every
looks
point, it
lovely.
just winnowed down. But
Yeah,
I would say
ultimately that would
minimum
yield.
250 spots.
Yeah, I think
minimum.
between 250 and 500 is probably a
It's incredible.
estimate.
I have one last question. I'm just curious, is there an origin story? Like initially when you to be getting the Sonic work, how did that happen? I'm sure it's been talked about previously, but I would just like to know now that I have you both held hostage here on the call.
Not a ton. I mean, I don't think we've talked about it too much. It's actually it's a pretty normal kind of auditioning story for actors. We were both in Chicago. We got the call from our agent. We went in. We auditioned in pairs, but we didn't audition together. There was a second round callback, again in pairs, which we were not together for that. And they auditioned people in New York and Chicago and LA. I think they kind of looked everywhere. And they wanted improvisers, and they wanted people who could both like do what they asked for in this script, but then would be very casual, and it would just feel like two guys sitting in a car. And we knew each other extremely well and had worked together in lots of different ways, but just on stage. And they must have seen something in the pairing of the two of us, because there was maybe 5 people right at the end that they were looking
I
at,
think so.
and they were all Chicago people. So they picked the two of us, but we each got there kind of
Wow.
on our own.
Incredible.
I can't believe I made the audition because I was living pretty hard back then. I would like not audition for anything before noon because I knew I was going to sleep through it and stuff. So just that I got there. The one interesting thing is that I was supposed to have a license and I didn't get a license. When I moved from Massachusetts to Chicago, I just got a state ID. It was like, I don't want to take a driving test. That was my whole life. Like, I don't want to get up. Like I just want to sit in a bar. And so the reason Pete ended up in the driver's seat is because I didn't get my license. Initially, they had intended that we would switch seats every other spot. And so I couldn't legally sit on that side of the car.
That's insane. That's legitimately insane that is why that happened. I wonder, I guess, I mean,
Do you have?
that's
Did you
insane.
get the license since?
Yes, I am
Yeah.
now a legal driver, and I'm always safe to drive now.
Nice. That was Gino just sounded like a
Let's switch it
cop.
up.
Gino just sounded like a cop right there.
Yeah,
And I see your
Yes,
license and
officer.
registration, please.
yeah.
Well, listen, it's been a pleasure chatting with you both. Thank you for taking the time. Excited and happy to see you both on the big screen with Jiffy Lube, and it was fun to chat with two advertising legends.
Here's to 250 more spots for Jiffy Lube.
Let's
Yeah.
go. Come on. Keep it
Congrats.
rolling.
Yes, you'll be talking to our a very old version of us if we do 250 Jiffy Lube spots. But
You guys are really good at what you do. It was a pleasure to talk to you.
yeah, that was fun. Thank you.
Thank you both. Appreciate you.
Thanks for having us.
TJ and Peter.
Love that.
Two guys. And I don't know if you caught that at the end, Gino. They said that we are good at what we do.
I caught that, Jack, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to be posting about that.
Yeah, that's going to get posted for sure. I don't care if anyone sees anything
What a
else.
dream.
Never post again.
I mean, like those
So
guys.
cool.
I mean, it's fantastic. Just that many shots on reps in for a campaign.
They
Like,
got to
they're
a
the best.
point. They got to a point where you would see them on TV and you just got in the mood to laugh.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same feeling you get when you go to a comedy show and you're just like, I feel like
primed.
I'm here to laugh. Yeah. But seeing them come on your screen, you're just like, yeah, this is gonna be funny. And
gonna
it's good.
ask them.
It's good. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
My bad, Jack.
It's, but
I was gonna ask them what's the best Sonic food that they've tried because they've tried all the new product innovations.
yeah, that's good. That'd be a good one. they're like, I've never actually had a piece of Sonic food, a product.
When we were talking about Keurig Dr. Pepper, it reminded me of the CEO.
Yes.
That was like, he was talking about all the product portfolios and
Yeah.
distinct beverages.
Usually have something from our beverage portfolio. What was I going to say? You interrupted me. So messed up.
Primed, you were talking about being primed, like when you go to the comedy show, you see it, you're ready to laugh.
No, I'm glad that it sounds like, I mean, it's really like getting the band back together. They've got their friend, you got Sue Salvi, shout out, bringing the team back together, and it sounds like they're letting them rip again, which, of course, like you wouldn't bring those two guys in and be like, here's your scripted lines. Go do the thing that you used to do.
Yeah.
But they
Jiffy Lube.
Yeah, Jiffy Lube. I've talked more about Jiffy Lube
And also
than ever.
The actual campaign is strategic in a way because it's all built. Every spot, there's 5 or 6 spots that are built around the 15-minute oil change. So they stuck to that theme and built some comedy around those things. So
yes, we had a chance. We talked with Brad Jones, CCO at Barkley OKRP, and he was saying, and it's from the campaign. It's like, where have these guys been? They've been trying to change their oil. They need to get an oil change. Yeah. It's either in the car. So it is funny to hear them say the initial brief from the client being around, well, you don't have to leave your car to get your oil change. Just that light bulb moment.
Yeah.
It feels like it's a light bulb moment.
For sure.
To just have that idea. It's not necessarily something we talk and we hear from creatives a lot about how they kind of like molded the idea and it started as something and then it kind of went through all these different variations to get to a point to where it's at. This feels like it would be something that is a light bulb moment. Couldn't be that hard to pitch the client on, or at least it wouldn't take a lot of pitch theater. You're just kind of like, these guys, remember these guys? We're gonna toss them in. We're gonna do what they do best.
And I like it. I mean, they're like celebrities, but I'm sure they're not. You don't have to pay them as much as A-list celebrities too.
Right. Yes, that is also because they really they're famous from the commercials.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
From
Is there
advertising.
any besides like Jake from State Farm,
Yeah, the progressive
Flow? There's a few of these people that if you can find shout out to the
Insurance.
casting director. That casting director is a legend, whoever it was.
for sure.
I think that's an underrated position.
Yeah, they did a great job. I think like a lot of insurance companies have these characters that they have to build a personality around the product, which doesn't really exist. Like it's just
Insurance is a figment of our imagination.
Fairy dust.
Nice. They need to. Do you think like financial services should start tapping into like? Do some of them do that? I'm trying to think if there's ever been a E-Trade baby.
Yeah, Jerry Graff.
E-Trade baby is the closest we've gotten to the babies.
I love those babies.
Love the babies. That was the show.
That was a good show.
Love the babies. Don't take that. That's gonna get clipped out of context for sure.
For sure.
Great show. If you're just joining now and you want to catch up, we talked with Nate Rosen, who's a CPG expert, about where the state of CPG with Olipop versus Poppy. Olipop new positioning came out in the probably century-long war with Poppy and Olipop. And heard about Sweets and Snacks Expo, which people don't realize is such a big thing in the CPG world. And we also talked with Lisa Smith, Gino.
Lisa Smith talking about the D&AD is one of the hardest award shows to win. All about creativity, none of that effectiveness crap.
Yeah, like lean in. It's from the creative craft standpoint. It feels like among creatives that we talk to and hear from, it's the most sought after.
Yep. It keeps the high bar for the industry. It's for us, and the clients also love it too. But really, that's just something that we can nerd out about for sure.
Yes, for the insider crew.
Yes.
Alec is in the LinkedIn chat. He said, "Can we get the Geico Gecko on next week?"
Ooh, want to hit up Martin?
That's good. That's solid. Sophia is in the chat. She said, "Hey chat, peace sign." Sophia, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the Galaxy. A lot of Barkley OKRP love today as well, Gino, for the agency in the Midwest.
Independent ad agency. I'll note that. Really kind of growing. So good job to them. Keep up the good work to them. Shout out to Buchin.
Buchin.
Zhang,
Yeah, shout out Buchin.
who's art director
Legend.
there, helped start Breaking Entering in 2020, built the look and feel that we know today, working at Barclay Oak.
He's made
Therapy.
everything that looks good, and if there's something that we put out that looks bad, it was made by Gino or I.
Since we went full time, you have to put out more content, and sometimes some stuff doesn't look as good as it should.
If there's anything that you think looks bad, it was because Gino and I made it. If it looks good,
Buchin.
Buchin or the
Ellie.
production team
And
behind
speaking
it.
of them,
Shout out to Ellie, to
Shout
Ross,
out to Ross,
JR, Quincy, Jonathan's back home. Thank you all for tuning in. That was the show presented by Rothmans. Shout out Rothmans. Menswear, taking New Yorkers as they are and dressing them better. We'll get into the post show now. If there's anything you want to debrief, Gino, before tomorrow's episode.
No, well, what was so funny back there? You guys were laughing. Is that shareable for on live?
No, it was before
Yeah, it was
that.
earlier than that. It was earlier
before
than the
that.
I Love the Babies ones. Oh, yeah, the guys. Yes. The metal detector stuff was funny.
We got talking metal detectors with one half of the two guys from Sonic, of course. What else would we talk about? That was electric, though. That's it. I mean, I got nothing.
Oh, your birthday's coming up.
Birthday's on Friday.
Birthday's on Friday. Turn 28.
I'm thinking about sending out the party fold to everyone on my Instagram story
I like that
and
idea.
LinkedIn,
I like that.
and just being like security threat maybe to tell people exactly where I'm going to be.
I don't think you have to worry about that yet. I think you'll be okay.
I just think if there's any crazies out there, I don't need them to pull up on me in my day ones.
For sure.
Like my ops might pull up. If my ops pull up, I'm done. They can't catch me they can't catch me lacking.
You all have backup.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Besides that, it's a big show week. Some great guests to be released.
To be released what?
Anything else from you before we get on with our days and lives and let these good people go back to work?
No, nothing from me, Jack. Excited to see everybody tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Time.
LinkedIn, YouTube, and X. If you missed the show, we're going to post it on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. Follow us at Breaking and Entering Media for all the highlights on our Instagram and LinkedIn. That was the show. Thank you all so much. We'll see you tomorrow.
Great job, everybody.